If there is no world government, then what makes international rules binding? Why do states sign treaties if they can ignore them? And why do powerful countries sometimes comply with legal rulings that limit their own actions? International law and global governance exist within an anarchic system, yet they shape state behavior in measurable ways. The key question is not whether international law has power, but how it operates without centralized enforcement. International law consists of treaties, conventions, customary practices, and legal principles that states voluntarily accept. Agreements such as the Geneva Conventions regulate the conduct of war. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea defines maritime boundaries and resource rights. When states bring disputes before the International Court of Justice, they are using legal mechanisms rather than force. For example, maritime disputes in Southeast Asia often reference UNCLOS provisions. Even powerful states invoke international law to legitimize actions because legality strengthens credibility and global standing. Global governance refers to the broader system of rules, norms, and institutions that coordinate international activity beyond traditional state-to-state diplomacy. It includes environmental agreements, financial regulations, human rights frameworks, and health coordination. Climate change governance under the Paris Agreement illustrates how states commit to collective targets, even though enforcement mechanisms are limited. During the COVID-19 pandemic, coordination through global health institutions demonstrated how shared challenges require rule-based collaboration. Critics often argue that international law is weak because there is no global police force. Enforcement depends largely on state consent and peer pressure. However, compliance often occurs because law reduces uncertainty and provides predictability. Trade disputes resolved through legal panels are less costly than retaliatory trade wars. Maritime rules prevent constant conflict over shipping routes. Human rights conventions shape domestic legislation over time. Even sanctions regimes operate through legal frameworks to maintain legitimacy. Power still influences how international law functions. Major powers sometimes bypass institutions when national interests dominate. Disagreements within the UN Security Council over Syria or Ukraine reveal the limits of collective enforcement. Yet even when states violate rules, they often attempt to justify actions legally, which demonstrates the importance of legitimacy. Legal argument becomes part of geopolitical strategy. Law does not eliminate politics, it interacts with it. International law and global governance show that even in an anarchic system, rules matter. They do not replace sovereignty, but they structure expectations and reduce chaos. They provide mechanisms for dispute resolution, coordinate collective action, and shape global norms. Understanding this balance between law and power explains why treaties persist and why institutions remain central to global order. And now that you see how rules operate within an anarchic system, the next step is to examine why conflict continues despite legal frameworks, beginning with the causes of war and modern security studies.